So good, so good, so good.
Everything you want for summer is at Nordstrom Rack stores now, and up to 60% off. Stock up and save on the brands you love like Vince, Sam Edelman, Frame, and Free People. Join the Nordy Club to unlock exclusive discounts, shop new arrivals first, and more. Plus, buy online and pick up at your favorite Rack store for free. Great brands, great prices. That's why you Rack.
Ready to soundtrack your summer? With Red Bull Summer All Day Play, you choose a playlist that fits your summer vibe the best. Are you a festival fanatic, a deep end DJ, a road dog, or a trail mixer? Just add a song to your chosen playlist and put your summer on track. Red Bull Summer All Day Play. Red Bull gives you wings. Visit redbull.com/brightsummer ahead to learn more. See you this summer.
Hello and welcome to this week's episode of The Filmmakers Podcast. This is a podcast where we talk filmmaking, from indie film to studio films to high-end TV and documentaries and everything in between. How to get them made, how to make them, and how to try not to royally F it up, in our very, very humble opinion. I am Giles, Alderson, I'm a writer, director and a producer, and I am delighted to welcome onto the show today Nia DaCosta. She's arguably one of the most exciting directors working today because her trajectory has been meteoric and incredibly varied, from her gritty indie western debut movie Little Woods to her social horror Candyman. Don't say it 3 times. Or 5. And then massive studio blockbuster, The Marvels, 2, Header, a film which came out last year, a drama, and now the high-stakes franchise horror, 28 years later, The Bone Temple. So myself and Dom Lenoir sat down for a recorded interview with Nia DaCosta. That is on YouTube now. Do go watch and support us on our YouTube channel if you haven't already. Do just press the subscribe, I think it is on there. Why not? It all helps. We chatted with her. We met her lovely dog, Maud, as well, but she breaks down the sort of pressure and privilege of taking the baton over from Danny Boyle for part 2 of this new trilogy. She reveals her journey a little bit about from the Sundance Labs, making Little Woods, to managing massive VFX budgets, and now returning to the practical visceral horror. We talk about scripting, outlining, what she does when she gets stuck on a script, or she gets stuck as a director. She gives advice for directors on handling the imposter syndrome on big sets, dealing with disappointment and feeling like a failure. She talks about her rehearsal process and locations and why it matters to her to be there early, and why all directors are different. So, 28 years later, The Bone Temple is brilliant. I really enjoyed this film. I had luckily just watched 28 years later 2 days before, and it's a direct follow-on. It doesn't mean you need to have watched the previous one, but it is a direct follow-on. And the first one was directed by Danny Boyle, who also wrote the original for 28 Days Later back in the 90s. And Danny directed part 1, which came out last year, and Nia has now directed part 2 immediately after. And Alex Garland, the amazing writer and also director, wrote both scripts. It follows the nature of evil and follows a new generation of survivors in this post-apocalyptic Britain. And I suppose while part 1 focused on the immediate return of the virus, the family, this film shifts to the societies that have formed in the aftermath, shall we say. Jack O'Connell is brilliant in this film, as is Ralph Fiennes, and also a certain member from the original 28 Days Later cast reprises his role. I think you can guess who that is, but I've been told not to do any spoilers, so I'm not doing that. And the film also stars Erin Kellyman, who is brilliant in this movie. Nia shot this back-to-back with Danny Boyle. In other words, Danny was filming his and they're prepping theirs, and then 3 weeks later they carried on filming. And that is very rare and an intense way to make a movie, I would say. I think there's a lot of positives to that, because it means you've got all the makeup team there, you've got the production team there, they've already made stuff, they've already got the ball rolling, the actors are already in character, which I think is really cool. Kind of similar to how they did The Matrix or The Lord of the Rings, and in some extent Back to the Future. So let's talk about her indie debut, Little Woods. This starred Tessa Thompson and Lily James, and it won the Nora Ephron Award at the Tribeca Film Festival. And it proves she could handle tension and desperation on a very tiny budget. It's basically about two sisters smuggling meds across the Canadian border. It's grounded, gritty, and I'd say very tense. And like I say, she then went on to make Candyman. This is her breakout hit. It's very horror based on the original movie in the 80s. And she became the first black female director to have a film debut at #1 in the US box office with Candyman. And she took that beloved 90s, I still think it was a 90s classic, she reinvented it with deep social commentary. And she proved she could handle sort of elevated horror. Then she went on to make her blockbuster, The Marvels. She talked about it in the episode about it as a bit of a failure. I said this too, I don't think you are. But it's really interesting because it's box office and that's how Hollywood perceived it. But handling a 200 million VFX heavy production is a baptism of fire. And that gives her massive technical authority, ability. Gosh, she must have learned so much on that. Then last year she made Hedda, what came out last year. This is her art house pivot based on Hedda Gabler. And again, this starred Tessa Thompson. This is definitely worth you watching. This is a brilliant, brilliant film. It showed her returning to a sort of character-driven drama, especially after the big Marvel, in her words, let down, reinforcing that she's kind of this auteur. She's not just a studio gun for hire. And now she's back with 28 years later, The Bone Temple. It's out in cinemas now. Do go watch it. It's ace. It's a really fun night out of the cinema. It's intense, it's dark, and it leaves you on a cliff edge. Cliff edge? Cliff edge. Maybe the hedge is there that you're gripping onto, and it's a cliffhanger. And it's great. Really worth seeing in the cinema. As so many movies are. So many movies worth watching in the cinema. Me and Dom will have to watch Hamnet tonight in the cinema. Can't wait. Looking forward to it. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you for being part of the Filmmakers Podcast and keeping this podcast alive. Do support wherever you can. Go on our socials and like it. Write a comment. If you aren't yet subscribed to this podcast, do it now. Click the button. It's very easy. Then it comes first into your inbox. And if you haven't yet written a lovely comment, please do. This helps us get us up the charts and helps get more people listening, which means we can keep the amazing guests we are getting for you. And next week, we have on Tony Cook and Zach Fenning talking about their indie darling, their feature film they've just released called A Gangster's Life, which is out now. They gave me an executive producer credit because I helped them out quite a lot with lots of bits and pieces, with paperwork, etc., and getting distribution. So do listen out for that. That's going to be next week. We've also got some other ridiculously amazing guests coming up, including Piers Tempest and Georgia Bailiff talking about I Swear. This film's definitely going to be BAFTA nominated, so that's coming up for you. We also have Chuck Roven, myself and Tony Cook actually sat down to interview him. This is the Oscar-winning producer of Oppenheimer. He's on in a couple of weeks as well, talking about his ace new film, Mercy. So we've got him joining us. We have Corinne Hardy, the director, coming on, as well as the team behind 1,000 Blows, a TV series, plus loads of other indie filmmaking guests along the way. Thank you for listening to Paul Schrader. That was our special on Friday last week, talking about O'Connor, but also he's the writer of Taxi Driver. He's the writer of Raging Bull, and he talks about that. It's a very honest, open chat about filmmaking and this industry. So if you haven't listened to that one with Paul Schrader, listen after you've heard this one with Nia DaCosta. Right, 28 years later, The Bone Temple is out now. Nia DaCosta, here she is, chatting with me and Dom Lenoir. Enjoy.
How's it going?
Good.
Very
Okay.
excited. Talk
Very
about
excited.
film.
Yeah.
That's my
This is
other
incredible.
favorite accent thing in Ireland. Film.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Hey,
You learn any other
film.
words? Any other good ones?
No.
No, that's
Okay.
enough.
Yeah,
That's
okay.
enough.
Top of the morning.
Well, I was just
any other
saying Wolf Hole
cliches?
earlier, but that's
Which one? Wolf Hole.
You know the book Wolf Hole?
Oh, Wolf Hole.
My production designer would go, Wolf Hole.
Wolf Hole.
Wolf
Yeah.
Hole.
Wolf Hole.
Okay, great.
Oh, yeah.
Great productions. That you obviously working with a load of British crew as well. Obviously. On
Yeah. On all my last 2 films.
last 3 films.
Yeah, all last 2 films were shot in the UK.
Of course they were.
Yeah.
What is it? What is it you love about the UK?
I know.
I don't know, these delightful accents. No, you know what? I actually got my master's here and I moved here a few years ago and I'm from New York City. It's a bit slower, greener, more provincial in a nice way. A little more community oriented,
Yeah.
you know.
Where did you study? Here.
Central School of Speech and Drama.
Did you?
Yeah, I got my master's in writing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Nice.
good.
Did you started screenwriting from the beginning?
Well, I went to film school in New York and then I was like, I want to do more writing and I want to work with actors. So I went to a drama school and it was like writing for stage and broadcast media. So it was theater, TV, film, and radio.
Did you kind of know writing versus directing at the start? Was it?
Oh, I always did both. Like, I always
Yeah.
wrote.
I noticed on your
before.
credits, it's kind of like most of them are combos. So that's.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, to be honest, like the Marvels and Candyman, I didn't sign on to be a writer. That just ended up happening through development. But I prefer to just like either fully write or to fully not write. Like that's my
Okay.
preference.
Oh,
Yeah.
And on this, obviously, Alex Garland
Yeah.
wrote this.
Which, what a dream, you know?
I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
what a dream, what a
Yeah.
writer.
Could be worse person to collaborate. with.
Exactly. I'm just
Yeah.
like, oh, God, him. Yeah.
Yeah, not him again doing
Yeah,
this.
so boring.
Seeing a
No.
nightmare.
No, he's amazing.
Yeah,
Amazing,
it's
yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, did you, when you first got approached about this, is the script already in place? Is it already
Oh yeah,
written?
totally. And that's
Totally
also
ready.
because I kind of like my experience. Like, well, how do I say this? I just the script has to be ready to shoot if it's not mine, you know.
Yes.
And even if it is mine, like I don't ever want to go into production without a script that's ready to I don't want to go into prep without a script that's ready to shoot.
Yeah.
And Alex is a writer who writes a script that's ready to go, and so my agent called me and he was like, hey, like you don't have time for this, and I know you said don't send you anything because I was editing Hedda at the time, and he was like, but, and I was like, oh dear. He's like, Alex and Danny are doing 28, and I was like, I'm sorry, I'm not available, I can't do that. And then he sent me the scripts and I read them. I was like, they're genius, they're amazing. Yeah. And I talked to Alex about them, and I was just like, damn it. And so then I kind of pitched myself for the movie.
Did you ever get into a position in your early sort of career where you thought that you would be in that state of mind where you're actually refusing those kind of offers from those kind of people? Like, does that not strike you as like
No,
surreal?
it's crazy. But I mean, I guess I'd done Candyman, which is a franchise I loved when I was a kid. I went to the Marvel Cinematic Universe and which again I loved as a kid, the comics and the movies and to varying degrees of success. And so I just, for me, like it's always, I realized what was important, which is like the process of it. And if I can control the process of it, then it would be an enjoyable experience and I think a better film. But also I learned, like, I just made my 4th film in 6 or 7 years. Oh, hi, Maud.
Oh.
And then I would have had to,
I love dogs.
I would have had to shoot the movies back to back, basically. So I shot them both in the same year. So it was just a bit like, I was like, I can't be a crazy person and shoot 2 movies in a year. But then I read the scripts and I was like, I must. Yeah.
So what was once you read the script and you're like, okay, this is fantastic, this is ready to go.
Yeah.
What was then your thought process in terms of, obviously it's a very established franchise, very established writer.
Yeah.
What can you bring to it? What sort of direction can you sort of?
I
love the dog. Yeah. I'm happy to take the dog.
Well,
You're gonna hold it?
Can I take the dog?
He's very polite. No, you can hold. Sophie's like, no. This is my assistant, Sophie. Yes.
Tempting us.
I know. It's like,
dog.
she was really excited.
I
too.
can spend all day.
Maud loves being pet, by the way. She would have just made you pet her for the next 20 minutes.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, wouldn't have been a problem.
Sorry about that. That's Maud after Harold and Maud.
Yeah.
Oh, lovely.
Also, she just reminded me of an old lady, so I thought Maud makes sense.
And you can travel with more.
Yeah,
as
it's
well,
very
right?
easy. I usually don't. I usually leave her with her because her sitter has a dog named Fudge, which is her best friend. So
Makes sense.
So I'm like, let me go.
Fudge.
Makes
Maud and
perfect
Fudge. It's really hilarious.
That's
They're like
really
Ebony and Ivory. Like he's like this beautiful white dog, and she's
Yeah.
this little black dog, and it's very cute.
Sounds like a really cool cartoon or something.
Yeah.
doesn't
It would be.
More than Fudge.
Because they're both really intense. Like because they became a little pack.
Oh.
They kind of like try to fight other dogs. Yeah,
New
but they're
franchise.
tiny. Exactly. Yeah.
That's it. That's the next one
Yeah.
straight away.
Yeah.
So we were saying.
Yes. So your take on
Yeah.
what to do with this, because obviously, if I'm correct, it was shot back to back.
Yeah.
there's obviously a lot of carry on, but I think with the story with Lewis and Erin, especially in this one, it's very personal. Rafe's character and that sort of Samson friendship. It feels like it really like takes what you've built, but it kind of goes in a different direction. It's like, it's really about these two central things for me anyway. What was your sort of process just getting your mind into it?
Yeah. So, I mean, I just, like, when I read the scripts, I read Danny's and I was like, oh, that's amazing. And I read The Bone Temple and I thought, ooh, that's the weird one. That's the weird step cousin of like a really great, put together, horror film. And that really excited me because they were so different. And I love that I got to expand what was happening with Kelson and the Jimmies. And because of these two opposing sort of worlds, I was like, oh, that visually those can be represented so differently as well. And that was sort of the basis of my pitch to the producers. I was like, oh, I see the world like this. I see it like I don't want to make a Danny Boyle movie because that is impossible. And like, why would anyone watch me try to do that? And if you want that, you should just make him do it. Like force him to do it. You know what I mean?
Just do them both back to
Yeah,
back,
just do them back to back. I don't care about you being tired. Okay.
Yeah.
But I think once I said like I'm going to do it differently and here's what I'm thinking, they bought into it, and having that buy-in was really important because it meant that I was supported throughout the process. Yeah.
And what was that pitch?
Well, basically, it started off with me talking about like Kelson's world being, it's kind of the movie you see. It's like it's very bucolic and measured and beautiful, and so the camera is more still. Like the first time we see it, it's like we hold and then we like kind of slowly pan over to the woods. It's very intentional, and it has to be about it being this peaceful place. And the Jimmies are erratic, and we shoot with more cameras and we cut a lot more, and we do like whip pans in their world, and so I just wanted it to feel super different. And the way that Alex structured the script is like you're in the world for a long time, the Samson Kelson world, then you're in the Jimmy world, and then they come together. And I thought if we can establish those looks and then bring them together, you just get fireworks. And you see how the bleed, you can show the themes bleeding into each world visually as well. So I was just like talking to a director producer, like two director producers about that. They're like, yeah, we totally get it immediately. There's no, and I was like, I'm not going to shoot on iPhones. I'd shoot on probably the Alexa 35, which we did, anamorphic. Just like getting into the nitty gritty of it. Because again, when you're talking to director producers and not executive producers, you can just say like this lens set, wouldn't that be cool? Like this, like it's fun. So that was sort of the beginning of the pitch.
That sounds so amazing to collaborate with like Danny and Alex like that, and to work back to back, which must have been so interesting. Were you spending time on their set beforehand, watching what was going on?
Not really. Like I visited at one point just to like see where the production office was. Then I visited again because the production designers, who are also the costume designers, Gath and Carson, who are amazing, they were showing me around the Bone Temple, and they were like, "We saved this for you. We saved this for you," because they didn't want to like blow their whole load on the first film with the Bone Temple. So then I would like pop around and like chat to Danny and like kind of see what he was doing. But I didn't stay for very long. I just kind of
was that on purpose? Did you not want to be?
No, I was just so busy. I had to prep my own movie. Yeah, of course. Yeah, because like I literally had 3 weeks. I also was like finishing up editing.
Had 3 weeks prep.
3 weeks.
Oh no, 3 weeks between him wrapping. I had months of prep. So I kind of had like even more prep because I started in the middle of his prep for his movie. So like that was so I got to slowly come into it, and there were like 2 locations I think that were set already. But still like everything that was in development, like Danny was super generous. He really just let me into the process. And, eventually we ended up really kind of doing our own things, but we talked about Samson's design. Like, what's that going to be like? I had some thoughts about his dimensions that were different from Danny's.
Are we talking dimensions?
You know what I mean? But I think like we shot so differently that like I couldn't get away with the same things that happened in that film and vice versa. So we had the freedom as well, even though we were super collaborative and talked a lot about it, to kind of go in our own directions. Yeah.
But in terms of what you did bring forward, because I think Louis' character is really, the actor Louis.
You mean Alfie?
Sorry, Alfie. Yeah. His progression from the last movie into this one, he sort of goes off in a different route, and the casting is so important.
Yeah.
And also the Jimmies, as you said, like casting those and how they sort of finished the last film and sort of carrying that tone on. How did you sort of develop those going forward into this? Because there is a crossover and it's quite interesting, and I think that's very important.
Yeah, well, tonally, I knew I wasn't going to do anything tonally similar because the way they're introduced in the last film is I can't replicate that. It's crazy.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
But it was important for Danny that he had people, at least some of them, who could do backflips and like physically interesting and like extreme things. And so when we were talking about casting, like it was mostly going to be on my head, the casting of them, because they're in my movie. But he was like, oh, I really want these kinds of people. And so we had a couple of joint casting sessions, and then eventually I just kind of took over. But from that joint casting session, two of the actors we got, and one of them could indeed do backflips. And then I think another Erin Kellyman cast, not for any physical thing, but she's actually ended up being a gymnast. So she was able to do some stuff for Danny that he needed for the end of that movie.
Did a very good role.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah, it was really fun because she also was like, oh, I tumble like this. And I'm like, good girl, just add a knife and we got it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Perfect.
It's great.
Yeah.
No, she's amazing. But yeah, I think what was carrying over was just making sure like that they felt that they could exist in his world and in my world. And so, because I knew I was going to treat them differently, just necessitated by the script. And a lot of that came down to like, what do they look like? How are they dressed? Like, we didn't know exactly what the hair was going to be because initially in the script, they bleached their hair to look like Jimmy's. But then you have to think about like, you're going to bleach these actors' hair for 3 months, completely destroy it, and it has to be the same because the movie takes place not over that much time. Or you're going to have wigs on all of them that are their hair. And we were just like, this is crazy. And then Flora Moody, who's our amazing hair and makeup designer, was like, what if we did like, some had acrylic wigs and some had real wigs or whatever. And then eventually I was like, no, they should all have wigs. Like Jimmy has the real hair and they all do wigs to look like him and they shave their heads because they're a cult and they're losing their identity and da-da-da-da. So like that kind of development that was on my end of the table, but we made sure some backflips were happening.
And it becomes like a very good story thing because of the fact that when someone dies, they get their wig taken off.
Yeah, exactly.
That was like a really,
it's great.
really, really good story.
Good moment. Yeah.
Well, that's what I love about filmmaking. Like you have this thing, you have the script, you know exactly what you're doing, and then as you develop it, you work with your brilliant department heads. You get to all your decisions are filtered through story, and so you end up with cool things like Sam throwing the wig at Spike at the end of that first scene. Yeah.
Bonjour, compadre. It's the
Priceline Negotiator.
How do I negotiate so many great travel deals? My greatest gadget, the Priceline app. It's got hotel deals, flight deals, rental car deals, all of those deals in a bundle. Deals, game day deals, concert trip deals. No one deals more deals than Priceline. Hold your horses, there's more. The app lets you filter hotels by neighborhood, vibe, star level, and amenities like pools and spas and beachfronts and... Wait, I'm not done. Stop cutting me off.
Priceline.
Have you ever rearranged your furniture and discovered the carpet underneath looks brand new while the rest of it looks, well, not so new? It's time for a carpet upgrade. At the Home Depot, we have stylish choices at simple prices from all the top brands. Best of all, we can install it for you, starting at only 49 cents per square foot. So all you have to do is pick your perfect floor. Start your carpet project today at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Exclusions apply for licenses. See homedepot.com/license numbers.
At first, I didn't think it was real. I woke up to this blinding light, and I was transported to another place. Pluto TV! Then I heard a voice.
Come with me if you want to live.
There were thousands of movies and shows, and they were all free.
Truth is ours.
It's just so beautiful.
On Pluto TV, free streaming of Terminator 2, Fringe, Arrow, The 100, and The X-Files may cause excitement, loss of sleep, and sudden belief in extraterrestrials. No credit cards or alien encounters necessary. Pluto TV, stream now, pay never.
There's so many beautiful things in there. We're filmmakers as well, and that's what this podcast is about. It's helping filmmakers get the stuff out there and how to do it and make mistakes and learn from what we do.
Yeah.
What the prep time and that development process for filmmakers is so important. A lot on the indie films don't get that time. Maybe on Little Woods, you didn't get as much time as certainly you do now.
Yeah.
How has your development process changed, and you as a director putting your sort of touches and emotion and feeling onto a film? Has that changed over time?
Such a good question, because I think the thing that's changed the most is me learning how to like trust my own instinct, how to execute the thing that's in my head, and how to choose the right people to help me get there. I think specifically, I'm a lot less stressed out, man, like during prep, because I think I used to hate prep. Used to be my least favorite part of the process. I was like, everything's a problem and everything sucks and everything's terrible.
Yeah, you start up here and then you end up going, well, I accept this.
Exactly, yeah.
But
just do a shot reversal.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's what we've
It's
got
fine.
time for.
Yeah.
But I think the thing that I'm better at now is just not stressing out and just trusting the process, because there were 2 sequences in this film in particular that everyone was shitting bricks about, because when you read it in the script, you're like, that's amazing, but like executing that would be crazy. And one is there's a big old fight in the film.
Yes.
And then there's a big old presentation, I'll call it.
Oh, yeah.
Skin ripping.
Near the end.
Yeah.
Oh, there's that thing too. That was a separate. That was a whole separate thing.
Oh.
No, this right at the end of the movie. Yeah. And I remember reading that and I was like, well, this could ruin my career. I was like, but you have to kind of go for what scares you, because I've already failed so spectacularly on a public way that I was like, whatever, we'll try it again. And I think those scenes are two of my favorite scenes, and I think they're really special because I just had the right people, and also I just trusted in, like, we'll get there eventually. We'll get there. We have all this time to get there. We'll figure out the right thing to do. So I was never really stressed about them. I was just like, yeah, okay, it needs to be at this level, and once we get there, we'll all know. Yeah.
Is there a lot in your sort of mindset about letting go and planning to a degree, and sort of being flexible and allowing for these nice happenstances and accidents?
Yeah.
And I mean, especially with like big stuff, like you can plan it to within an inch of its life, and then 3 shots in, something happens and something explodes, or
for sure. Yeah. I mean, well, I'm super overprepared. Like I shot list the entire film. I know every shot that we're gonna do. I storyboard like for the complicated sequences. But because I'm so prepared, when something goes wrong, it's very easy to pivot. And my whole team is like that. Sean's really good at this as well. Sean Bobbitt, my DP. And again, I think it's that feeling of not stressing out, because I think once you start stressing, you start losing your ability to actually creatively solve problems.
And that's sort of flow state. And
exactly. Just sort of like, okay, we're here. And that's actually what I love about shooting. It's like problems every day. You have to figure it out immediately. You can't be like, oh, I don't know, what am I going to do? You can't like sit with the problem. You have to just solve. And when you have the right team around you, the solving becomes easier and the solutions become better. So yeah, definitely over prepare, but then be prepared for, disaster.
A disaster and threat. Well, you mentioned failure a minute ago.
Yeah.
You said you had a public failure.
Yeah.
I don't think you did, but I guess
no. So to be fair, I don't internalize it as a failure. But obviously, like the movie, The Marbles, I'm talking about, obviously, like didn't make a lot of money. The reviews weren't amazing, but everyone on that movie tried their best, and we're like trying to make like an excellent thing. And some people love the movie, and some people don't. But I think going through that as a filmmaker, like being a director is super bruising as a profession, and you have to be able to separate like what happened and what your process is and what the work is from what happens once it leaves the editing bay and gets made into a DCP and put into theaters around the world.
And it's also super healthy that you've moved on from whatever it is anyway. Like whether something is a success objectively or not.
Yeah.
The fact that you can go on and then at the end of, I mean, imagine if you're looking back in 10 years and you look at that and then you look at this and you look at the sort of progression.
Hedda as well.
It's like, exactly. You've basically got to sort of keep in the game.
Yeah. Hedda was like really fun because Hedda was like really personal and something I wanted to make for a long time, and that I had such a fun time with that, and it went well, and people received it really well, and but again, like I like to work, that's the thing I really care about. It's like, will I be able to make another movie? So through the successes or through things that don't go as well, I'm just sort of like, okay, what's the next thing going to be, and how can I make it something that I love, if nothing else?
And mentally, how did you? You mentioned failure there, like only from different angles, but how did you get through it? Was there any sort of something that you held on to?
I didn't really. So this is what's also interesting about it. I didn't. I mean, I have an amazing team and amazing friends and community, but I also didn't really think about it in that way.
Good.
I really also I was already making Hedda.
Right.
So I just, and also like it's funny within the industry and externally things are received and perceived differently, but I also have a great therapist,
Gotta have that therapist.
And I think like honestly, regardless, like when you do anything public facing, and I'm sure you guys feel this to a degree as well, like you have to sort of not even separate like yourself from it. You kind of have to separate the person that people think you are that has nothing to do with you. You just have to be okay with that being a person that exists, actually, even though it's not really you.
Yeah, there has to be some psychological distancing. Otherwise, everything would be exceptionally personal.
Yeah. And that's why I live here, so I don't have to. So I don't live like in LA. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
And I guess it's interesting what you said as well. It's like I was reading the other day that there's only when you have a stressful situation, there's only excitement, and it's down to you whether you choose to look at it as a challenge to meet, or something that's been there to thwart you.
Yeah.
And it's all down to how we perceive things.
It's like all
whether it's
energy.
something to-
It's like a very
exactly.
Buddhist sort of thing. It's like, it's all energy. Like, what does it feel like? Where is it in your body? And how do you actually like channel it or use it? Like actually when I wrote Hedda, it's because I was, I had a lot of energy about something. I was very upset about something, which I won't talk about, but which wasn't that serious anyway. But I was like, I'm used to this energy and write the script. And that's what I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you mentioned bruising. This industry, and for directors especially, can be bruising. So we throw ourselves into work sometimes too. You said you like to work as well.
Yeah.
We kind of do that because it feels
Catharsis. as well.
catharsis.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
I need to get to the next thing.
Yeah,
Even
yeah,
when you're
for
making
sure.
the one you're making, or even in the editing,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
need to creative bone, and
Yeah.
that's so important.
Yeah, no,
right?
for sure.
Creative bone temple.
Creative bone.
Exactly.
Very low. And your writing process, then.
Yeah.
We talk about that a little bit, and how
Yeah.
with Hedda and with Little Woods, how you go about that. What
Yeah.
do you do? Do you storyboard and do you
I outline.
scriptment, outline?
Yeah, outlines are huge for me. Like, it will take me longer to write an outline than the first draft of the script.
Okay.
Like, it takes me months to write an outline, and I'll write a script in weeks, just because the outline's super detailed. Because I just want to know exactly what's happening, and then it's almost like I'm transcribing it from, like, I outline and I read it again and again, and then I'm like adding little things that occur to me as I go. Because I think a lot of creativity is like in retreading and being like having new connections being made, you know? Because I think outlining for me is how I help the muse, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Because,
Yeah.
you know, sometimes when you're writing, you're just like, oh, wow, yeah, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. And sometimes you just don't have those ideas. I think the outlining process for me is like giving myself a second and third and fifth and 100th chance to meet the muse again somewhere along the way. And then when I'm like, oh, this is a full story. This is great. These are all the scenes I want in it. Then I write the script. And then when I think it's done, I send it to like you have these like 4 or 5 friends who are geniuses.
Very
and I'm
trusted
like, what do you think?
friends,
Yeah. Like, what do you think? And then sometimes they're like, you can do better, or they're like, this is great, you're done.
Perfect. I like that one. This is
Me
great.
too. That's my favorite one. That's what I like the best. Yeah.
You're my best friend.
Yeah, exactly.
You can stay.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. What happens when you get stuck on whether it's the writing or even in the directing situation?
Well, in the writing, I'll just try to work on something else.
Oh, interesting.
And then the directing. Also, the other thing about being stuck, like I write on spec now, really mostly. Actually, that's not even true. I'm writing like 2 things not on spec. But when I get stuck, I try to move on to something else. But if I'm writing on spec, I just kind of give myself a break. Like I don't get too intense about it, or I move on to another section of it. And again, this is why the outlining is great, because there's less pressure to like write in order in an outline, I guess.
Yeah.
And then directing. I mean, so on Hedda, I've shot in one location, and we come back to the same room multiple times, and Sean and I were like, okay, we're back in this damn bedroom again, you know? But what's fun is every scene in the bedroom, for example, has a different reason for existing and a different sort of power balance and a different sort of emotional set of stakes. And so I like use that as the blueprint for like, okay, like I think there's one scene where it's Hedda and Thea getting dressed by Hedda, and then there's a scene where Hedda's dressing her husband. And one scene where we're like, okay, Hedda's gonna be prowling around Thea because she's like her prey. So we're gonna stay with Thea in the foreground and always see Hedda in the background moving around.
Nice.
And the one with her and George, her husband, we're like, he's irrelevant to her, so we're just gonna stay with her. And when he's there, but that's just coincidental, basically. So like simple things like that, where it's like, what is the creative reason or the character reason for putting a camera somewhere. So that's what I try to like dig into when I'm like, oh, this room again, you know?
So that is in the script stage, like a lot of these
That would be in
directory
prep.
ideas. Yeah.
That'll be in prep. Yeah.
How long do you get to play in the space as well? In terms of, I like to, and you're the same, we like to sit in the room where we're filming so that we can go, oh, that's a nicer shot of the angle.
Yeah.
Do you get to do that as well?
Yeah, I really try to, I'm trying to think. Yeah, on pretty much everything like I've done, I ask for the set to be done as soon as possible so I can rehearse in the actual set. And if I can't do it, then I ask them to tape out like the set in a room or something. On Hedda, we were in the house. We had the house that was ready, so we rehearsed in the house. And on this one, we didn't really need to rehearse in the location. We did a bit, but we rehearsed nearby. And yeah, it's like a mix of that, like really knowing what character-wise is happening, and then me and Sean going by ourselves and being like, what's that over there? And Sean does his light steady, you know, and you come back with all the information and you kind of build from there.
It does feed in so much, especially when you're on location. And I mean, like something like the Bone Temple, or the Hedda Mansion, like they all, adds so much to what the characters embody and also what you're trying to tell story-wise, like why someone has a fight in one entrance or another, and like all this stuff. You need to sort of absorb it consciously, subconsciously, and you know, have that sort of in your arsenal.
Exactly.
Well,
and so
in
much of
advance.
it's the subconscious too, because that's how you kind of make the quick decisions. Like, because yes, like it's a very intellectual pursuit, like directing a film and writing a film, but you also like you don't know all the time why something is your instinct or why you want to do something in a certain way. And it's why all directors are different. Like we can all say these are the same, like Danny and I, for example, like same themes, same characters, we would approach it completely differently. And it's just because of who we are as creatives. And that is like kind of the most vital part in a way.
I guess it's like 100 or 1,000 different decisions that get to that point.
Yeah.
I think we've got to wrap it up, but if we could maybe one bit of advice to younger self or someone trying to break into the industry, you know, some mistake learnt or not mistake as we discussed earlier.
No, but see, mistakes are really important because nothing's a mistake unless you like can't fix it. I think like we're all doing stuff that's crazy.
Training.
Yeah, bro. Exactly. You're all learning from it. I mean, I think the thing, like, especially if you're a writer, the thing that I learned was like, you really have to apply for everything because you don't know what door is going to be the door that opens. And like all of my friends and I, we went to film school, but like we all applied to like the same, like Nichols Fellowship, Sundance, Filmed Independent, you know, like Hamptons, you know, film festival, workshop, whatever. We all applied to the same things and we all had different doors open for us. Like mine was Sundance, my friend's was Nichols. Like everyone finds a different way in, I think, but you have to just throw yourself at every door. Like truly. Yeah.
I think that's the only way, isn't it?
It's really it. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no trick.
There is no trick because obviously you got into Sundance Labs with Little Woods.
Little Woods, yeah.
Yeah, which must have been amazing.
It's crazy.
Experience.
I was 25. I was like, what am I doing?
Wow.
It's like, oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah. Incredible. Nia DaCosta, thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Incredible.
Thank you. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Huge congratulations on the movie.
Much. Thank you. I love this movie so much.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Oh, thank you.
It really is.
Really, really heartfelt.
Yeah, no, it's right. I think honestly, if the Chai and Rafe relationship doesn't work, then we're all goofballs because I was like, this might be trash. But yeah,
it was really emotional as well. And there's so many lovely moments that it suddenly turned into a different like film. It went onto these journeys. You're like, oh, okay, it's this.
Now we're walking with someone like having a trip, basically looking at trees.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then there's the next minute the head's ripping off, and then we're going back to
we contain multitudes. That's
what beautiful emotional moments. So congratulations.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you.
Pleasure.
That's my favorite interview so far.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Listen up, everyone. Anyone PR?
She's here. She's like, yeah.